Peace. You be lying, saying all on me. That's what you spell all on me. Kiss you like my white meat. Pickle you like my white tea. The color purple, you excite me. I'd rather smell you every time I breathe. Cop you then I leave. So much smoke, oxygen I weave. Still we see no felonies. I'm smoking ice, keeping Fridays. Cause every 7 days I feed. So much smoke, oxygen I weave. Still we see no felonies. I'm smoking ice, keeping Fridays. Cause every 7 days I'm paid. I need you.
Yo. Yeah. Get it in. Stop that. All right, we should be good now. Let's see what it do. Mic check. Yeah, that's good. Even though I ain't check on my phone, let me be 100%. Okay, I can see it's getting a little feedback on the volume. Yeah, we end up. As much as they be hating, they gonna make me edit all my videos. They try to knock y'all off from the beginning, discourage everybody from tuning in. They be like, what the hell he got going on in the beginning? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we in here though. Like I say, we touching on Inanna's knot today. Let me give you a close-up image on that, just to get you familiarized. Get you familiarized with Inanna's knot. All right. Yeah, knocked me out, but I'm back. All right. You know, man. In the movement book and everything while I was reading that. No problem. We still gonna get it. As you can see, hold on. Yeah, see, what I'm gonna take you through is showing you how this symbol that represents Sumeria is also in Egypt. And this is not by accident. Because at that time in history, the area that we call in Sumeria was what you would call an Egyptian protectorate. So they were under protection of Egypt. So it was all one land. It was all one people. If that's their army, obviously that's their people, you know. But I'm gonna show you through the headdresses because you don't see. I mean, other than the Pope stealing our headdress, you don't see nobody else having our headdresses. And we'll see the same hairdressers and not think that we're the same people, which is crazy. Which is why I definitely pointed out the fez or the Ayamara headdress is what it's called in South America. All of our cultures have it. All indigenous cultures have this headdress, but we're not all Moors. I don't get it, right? So the same thing going right here with Samaria and Egypt, and them both having Inanna's knot. And if you can notice, you see the grandma looking couch. I know you see grandma's couch right there. Yeah. And that kind of blew my mind when I really noticed Inanna's knot, and I looked at grandma's couch. I'm like, wow, all these years. And that's why Inanna represents the mother or the great mother. And that's why these symbols were on Nana's couch. Big Mama's couch. Or basically the throne, because in Egypt and Samaria, this would have been on the throne. You know, all throughout our times, we've had we've been fond of this kind of a chair. I can show you where we'll have it in all wicker, in the 80s. Our parents would always get in front of those straw, like a straw hat. It was a straw chair. Like this with these same Inanna's knots on the end. But yeah, we finna get it in a little bit. Before I just, give you my take on everything, we can go from the book. And it's crazy how this representation of Inanna's knot looks like today what we call a fidget spinner. I'm sure y'all know what a fidget spinner is if you got little kids. Not long ago, that was the thing they played with like crazy. Yes, I'm gonna show you one. Let me see. I just want to show you a fidget spinner. For some reason, I just want to be able to show you what I'm talking about. Let me see. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you already knew what a fidget spinner was. Yeah. Yeah. Not to say that has anything to do with this presentation, but that symbol for Inanna is not in this book that I'm going back to. Was just it's eerie how it was in the same shape of a fidget spinner. How I went right back to the same one. Yeah, wrong page. Hold on. It still won't let me just switch over. All right, my bad. Yeah, smash that like button on the way in. I appreciate you. Cause yeah, we finna get it in with Inanna's Knot. And since y'all just came in, I feel I need to show you again. But yeah, we definitely gonna be touching on Inanna's Knot. I'm showing you how this symbol, this headdress, representing the crown, of course, of normally the mother. But this crown is in Sumeria as well as Egypt, showing how these are the same lands. Yeah, it's crazy how because the Egyptologists or the Pan African they don't say this kind of stuff. They won't connect Sumeria and Egypt for some odd reason, which is worse than disconnecting South America and North America. That'd be ridiculous. So disconnecting Sumeria and Egypt is even worse because they're even closer. Mm. They have nothing separating them. Peace, peace. Girl behind the mic. Appreciate you, sister. Let's see. But yeah, like I said, we finna get it in right about now. Right? Because this spiral, these curves, represent the mother. Like I said, Inanna's not. I mean, we should know who Nana is. I showed you that this symbol is on Nana's couch. The mother's chair of the house. That, her throne, so to speak. But mother, spirals curve around cave walls and ancient artifacts all over our planet. One of the earliest spiral images dates back 24,000 BCE. A mammoth tusk dotted with 7 spirals found in Malta. Okay, making sure we good on the audio. All right, y'all with me? Malta, Siberia. In Australia, spirals are symbols of the primary life force and marks the path of ancestors. Hopi people see the symbol for Mother Earth within each spiral. Hopi people. Because once again, we talking about those 3 lands of the West, like we were touching on the other day when we were reading up on Queen Mu and Atlantis and Egypt and all of that good folklore, which looks like the real science, obviously, because we talking about our ancestral science. So the Hopi people see the symbol for Mother Earth within each spiral. The triple spiral pictured here can be found deep within a barrow hidden inside a circular earth mound at Newgrange in Ireland's County Meath, 30 miles north of Dublin. It is one of hundreds of stones engraved with megalithic art in Ireland. This entrance was discovered in 1699. The barrel remains a constant temperature of between 45 and 47 degrees Fahrenheit. One myth about Newgrange tells how the mother goddess created the mound by dropping stones from her apron. According to Irish legend, the Tuatha De Danann, magicians from the sky, or the lords of light, first lived in this wonder hill. When the winter darkness seems almost unbearable, the solstice comes, and on that single December sunrise, a shaft of light enters the barrel, strikes this spiraling trefoil, and illuminates the entire passageway. And this image of the triple spiral, each of the three spirals has 5 rings moving toward its center, right? And when we're talking about intuition, I know the way of all things by what is within me. That's law. And in that language, that means law. That's law. So we need to understand, that's law for real though. But spirals call forth voices of energy. If we look at Ouroboros 11 and imagine it spinning, the motion represents a desire to reunite, to get back to our oneness. Black holes in space are giant and mysterious vortices. We see this expression of energy in the microcosm too, in hurricane eyes and tornadoes and water going down a drain. In early Hebrew and Babylonian texts, God manifested through a whirlwind. All creative acts enter our dimension through spirals of energy, turning and pulsing like the Hunabku itself. Why is there a triple spiral on the Newgrange rock wall? Some believe it marks the 3 moon phases, waxing, waning, and full. Others find rich symbolism in the mother goddess herself, mother, maiden, and crone. These 3 phases of a woman's life. Others see the Christian Trinity, the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit. There is completeness in 3. Perhaps it relates to the birth experience, mother, child, and they saying other but father. Or they, divine, they saying, but and the divine plan behind each birth, the divine plan behind all acts of creation, or perhaps it marks 3 flowing rivers, each independent, yet intertwined. Each of us observes and understands our reality in various ways. We take tests to determine who we are and to understand how we react to life. One such topology separates people into sensates or intuitives. Sensates, the S people, rely on outside data. Those who rely on inner data are called intuitives, the N type. Intuitives don't seem to need detailed information. They rely on patterns and gut feelings, flashes of insights, and inner understanding. We are all perceptive, but we don't all honor or act upon our intuition. The poet Robert Browning said, "Truth is within ourselves. It takes no rise from outward things." Even Albert Einstein, whom we might think would have relied on empirical data, said the really valuable thing is intuition. Intuition lets us know something, but we are never sure exactly how we know it. And water, pictures and symbols that represent words are called ideograms. Peace to the gods. Let me touch on that one more again, because it's all going to correlate. But yeah, touching on Inanna's knot, showing the comparison, showing the same symbol in Egypt as well as Sumeria. So a Pan-African might not agree that these were the same land, but I'm showing it through the headdress, through the crown itself. This crown was in both lands. Mm. So obviously they were the same land, even though anybody who really studied would know that Samaria was an Egyptian protectorate at that time. So they were protected by Egypt. It's just like the army protects us. I mean, we the same people. Even back then, it was no different. But yep, matter of fact, y'all already know, smash that like button. And you come on in, tap that like. But yeah, we back. And the ideogram pictured here is a bundle of reeds. That's what it is when you're looking at Inanna's knot. It's a bundle of reeds tied in a knot, standing for Inanna, the queen of heaven and the mother of deities. It was carved in stone and dates from around 3000 BCE. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I get something for y'all. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show y'all the Queen of Heaven Bible verse, which obviously is talking about Inanna. All right. All right. What is that? What verse is this? Hold on. Oh yeah, Jeremiah. Right. All right. Let me pull it up for you, and I'm gonna come right back to this. Let me pull this right quick. All right. Let me see. All right. Let me see. Jeremiah 44. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Wait, matter of fact, I'm a little sidetracked. Hold on. Y'all bear with me. Just connecting all these dots. Because I don't think people understand this either. Not too many people read the Bible. And if they do, they ain't reading it with comprehension. It's crazy. Especially when they got their mind clouded with, you know what I mean, like falseness. You know, got too many cartoons in their mind to see it clearly. All right. Let me share this page. All right. I ain't gonna read it all, of course. I'm trying to even though I'm gonna have to read a little bit to give y'all the context, but okay. But now this is what the Lord God Almighty, the God of Israel, said: why bring such disaster on yourselves by cutting off from Judah the men and women, the children and the infants, and so leave yourselves without a remnant? Why arouse my anger with what your hands have made, burning incense to other gods in Egypt, where you have come to live? You will destroy yourselves and make yourselves a curse and an object of reproach among all the nations on earth. Have you forgotten the wickedness committed by your ancestors and by the kings and the queens of Judah, and the wickedness committed by you and your wives in the land of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem? To this day they have not humbled themselves or shown reverence, nor have they followed my law and decrees I set before you. Therefore is I, the Lord God of Israel, says that I am determined to bring disaster on you. Okay, hold on. Right? So y'all see it's about to hit the fan. Right? And then all men who knew that their wives were burning incense to other gods, along with all the women who were present, a large assembly, and all the people living in lower and upper Egypt, said to Jeremiah, let me blow it up. Put it at the top. They told Jeremiah, we will not listen to the message you have spoken to us in the name of the Lord. We will certainly do everything we said we would. We will burn incense to the Queen of Heaven and will pour out drink offerings to her just as we and our ancestors, our kings and our officials did in the towns of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. At that time, hold on, you see what they say? We will certainly do everything we said we would do. We will burn incense to the Queen of Heaven and we'll pour out. So they're going to pour libations and they burn incense for the Queen of Heaven. And, the drink offerings to her, just as we and our ancestors. They're doing the same thing the ancestors did, and burning incense and drink and pouring libations to the Queen of Heaven. And guess what? At that time, when the ancestors were doing that, or even when they were doing it until they stopped for Jeremiah and his God, they said we had plenty of food and were well off and suffered no harm. But ever since we stopped burning incense to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out drink offerings to her, we have had nothing and have been perishing by sword and famine. So there's more to it, but I don't think nothing more important than that right there. Obviously things were better for these people when they were honoring the great mother, when they were worshiping the Queen of Heaven, burning incense and pouring libations to the Queen of Heaven. And they had plenty of food and were well off and suffered no harm. But ever since they stopped burning incense to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out drink offerings to her, we have had nothing and have been perishing by sword and famine. See, the only reason they're perishing by the sword, not because they don't have a sword, is because they're not strong. They're not strong people. They're not eating good. They're barely eating. They're starving. So they're perishing by the lack of strength to fight back from being famished. And that's all because they no longer honoring the Queen of Heaven. But yeah, we're going to get back to the Queen of Heaven. We're going to get back to Inanna's knot. You feel me? If that makes sense or not. Because everybody ain't got no sense. So we know everything don't make sense to everybody. But yeah, the ideogram picture here is a bundle of reeds tied in a knot standing for Inanna, the Queen of Heaven, and the mother of deities. It was carved in stone and dates from around 3000 BCE. Marija Gimbutas, an archaeologist studying Neolithic Europe, said that of the 210 common core ideograms she isolated, the ones that didn't relate to moon signs, like crescents, the circle cross, horns, eggs, and fish, related to water and rain. Now, I like that. I got to carve that in my mind because, these symbols, they are all ideograms. They are all pictures and symbols that represent words. And to me, I will always tell you they have a numerical value. So it's all of that in the book. But of the 210 common core ideograms she isolated, the ones that didn't relate to moon signs, crescents, the circle cross, horns, eggs, and fish, related to water and rain. Wow. Water ideograms included V shapes, because the V makes the W. That's why you put double V, how you see it in Spanish. So two V's is a W. It represents water. That's why the first symbol is the W. The first letter in the word water is the W, the W. We'll say W, but still included V-shaped zigzags, chevrons, M shapes. Wow, and I got the M in my palm of my hand. But meanders and spirals. Mm. It appears that most, if not all, ideograms were inscribed or painted to ensure and value life. Situated near the Tigris and Euphrates rivers is in now what is now Iraq. The early city-states of Sumer featured ziggurats dedicated to the divine feminine. It was there that literature was born. Many of those hymns and prayers remain today. The Epic of Gilgamesh, an ancient Sumerian text, tells of a worldwide flood. Enki, the water god, flooded the Sumerian lands with his semen. This is why gods will be called bodies of water. You know, like how Gaia represents earth. You know, your Maya might be, a female water goddess, just like Enki is god of the Abzu. Abzu is the abyss, you know. So, like they're saying, Enki, the water god, flooded the Sumerian lands with his semen. So the water from the abyss took over the lands. So that's what these tales of Atlantis and Mu and Lemuria come from these great floods. And it's all being blamed on Enki because the name for the name for the abyss is Enki. So if this destruction is coming from, terrors down there in the abyss, water's overflowing from below, then it's going to be called Enki flooding the lands because that's the ancient name for the abyss or the body of water that we were calling the abyss. See, we're going to just speak on it in the European fashion. We're going to say, oh, it was the Pacific Ocean who did it. The Pacific Ocean destroyed that place. Well, they would say Enki did it. And Inanna, whose other names commonly used in the Mesopotamian region, included Ishtar, Astarte, and Asherah, was represented by a sacred knotted bundle of reeds that I'm going to show you once again, just to keep you caught up. I'm going to show you, that sacred bundle of reeds. Yeah. That's for real. So this is that sacred bundle of reeds that represented Ishtar, Astarte, Asherah, and most popularly Inanna. But this is all Sumerian deities. And I can also show you the same, as I'm showing you right here, the same symbol in Egypt. The same symbol on your grandma's couch. For real. Grandma's couch has Inanna's knot for that reason, because it represents the great mother. So this is a symbol you see on the throne. We didn't know it. We didn't notice it in grandma's house. We didn't notice it at home. We didn't notice the antiquity of it all. But yeah, it's definitely that. Let me get back with it. Yep, in this desert land, it is understandable, but that people called her the river of life. And movement, that's why these three different ways are the best ways to explain, like they say, intuition, water, and movement. And this is that triple swirls that we saw in the beginning. If I had to go back up, I'll show you. Yep. This is also a symbol of Inanna's knot. Anytime you see in the swirls, essentially, this is what we're speaking on. Let me show you more though. But yeah. All right, movement. All things are swirls of energy. Vortexes of moving forces, currents in an ever-changing sea. The ancient art of geomancy, geo meaning earth. Uh, so the ancient art of geomancy, practiced first in China, is called feng shui. It means wind and water. Mm. Practitioners of this science lay out buildings and cities and arrange households according to the earth's chi or ki, its energy meridians, what we call ley lines, right? Cosmic breath moves energy about the earth. And human architecture can direct and purify the movement of energy within the home, just as acupuncture interacts with energy and healing in the body. By balancing pairs of opposites, luck and health can be assured. Hmm? So that sounds like being alkaline and eating the proper acids, having your citric acids, just like there's such thing as good fats, good fat, like avocado, or good cholesterol. Avocado literally has that, but all kind of healthy foods. But anyways, by balancing pairs of opposites, luck and health can be assured. Feng Shui teaches that there are 5 elements: wood, fire, water, earth, and metal. Mm. And if you think about it, wood has something to do with each and every one of those, right? It just made me, I always knew how important trees were, but the wood itself is definitely what's the important thing. Wood, like I said, has something to do with fire. We know that. Oh, wow. They go hand in hand, or there is no fire in most cases. Then with water, wood floats. That's why we have boats and everything else. Just a random piece of wood would save your life if you were trapped in the water. Wood has to do with earth, of course, because I just said trees. We already know that. And a lot of times, what we do with metal, we make screws. Screws screw well into wood. Hmm? We're not going to use a wood splinter to nail the wood. We're going to use a metal nail or metal screw. So yeah, those 5 elements. And I see why wood is in there, because it has to do with all of them. But each has productive and destructive cycles, and they interact with one another. Geomancy came to Africa in ancient times. Fa, the god of truth, representing the movement and freshness of water, came to the Yoruba and Fon peoples of West Africa from the east. He made a palm tree grow. The tree had 16 branches and produced 16 palm nuts, symbolizing the 16 signs of geomancy. Oracular sayings, or oral sayings, oral traditions, based on the number 16, are still used in some African folkways. Water, whether still or moving, shows us release and renewal. Wind and water create movement. Water sustains us from the time it cushions us as embryos to the day we die. Without water, we will indeed die, perhaps within 3 days. The Sumerian word for womb is the same as that for the sea. Seawater and blood are nearly identical. The only difference is seawater has more magnesium and blood has more iron. So the Sumerian word for womb is the same as that for the sea. Unless even their culture is telling you we come from the waters. And seawater and blood are nearly identical. The only difference is seawater has more magnesium and blood has more iron. We are born through the powerful movements of uterine, water. Our first word is likely to be Ma, which for the ancients meant the letter M, the symbol for mother, as well as for moving water. Many cultures celebrate a ritual similar to Christian baptism. The Maori mark their children with water on the brow as a daily ritual of protection. A good old agua. But the ideogram pictured here reminds us that the goddess restores life, just as water restores health and well-being. Every lake and river has its own unique pattern of movement. However, many of them now are experiencing fevers, for they are far from healthy. Under a microscope, a healthy droplet of water looks like a complicated flower. If the water is polluted, the image is ill-defined, fuzzy, and far less complex. Water is yielding, yet conquering. It extinguishes fires, forms steam, and solidifies into ice. And like I always say, fire is water. Because, fire is air, right? I mean, water is air. Excuse my language. Water is air, and fire can't exist without air. So fire is water, because fire is obviously air, right? Air is obviously water, right? So that don't change just because it's fire now. It's still water. Water is yielding yet conquering. It extinguishes fire. And that's something. In one of its form, in its driest form, it is fire. Form steam. We know how hot that is. It solidifies into ice. That's his solid form. Like I'm saying, that its etheric form is fire. Its gas form is oxygen. Its liquid form is water. Its solid form is ice. Water has no form of its own, molding itself to its container. And nothing can actually contain water. That's why you'll get frost or anything on the outside of your drinking apparatus, whatever the cup, glass, or container is. The cold and the dew and the mist and everything will make it to the outside. You cannot contain water. It only chooses to be contained. It's like locking up a prisoner, but he's hanging outside the jail all day, every day, without your permission. Yeah, but water has no form of its own, molding itself to its container. The word rhythm comes from the Greek word meaning to flow. In stories and legends, y'all smash that like button for me. I appreciate you. But in stories and legends, water usually represents our unconscious. The water image invites you to be less rigid and more fluid. Look to your dreams for water, maybe speaking to you there. Because your brain is majority water. Your brain is 80% water. So it ain't nothing but water. More like 85% water. It ain't nothing but water. Right? So your dreams, the water would be speaking to you. And as I always say, the water is the all. That's why I just named all the forms that it takes. I mean, water is the all. Water, like they say, God is the totality of everything. Well, that would be water. Water encompasses everything. Everything has water in it. Water is, that's saying God is in everything. Well, that means it's water, because water is in everything. Every living thing. Yeah. And in the Bible, Joseph got to Egypt by going down into a well, and his people returned by passing through the Red Sea. Inanna's knot symbolizes the recreated womb. Say that, King. Oh yeah, yes, you're right. Yeah, water has memory. So that's what the word memory means. Mem, M-E-M. Thank you, baby. My lady had to remind me. I mean, she keeping me sharp. But for sure, MEM, means water. So you have no memory without water. Like I say, your brain is majority water. Water has memory. Huh? So the Akashic records would more so be the ocean. Mm, mm. Even though it sure looks like a watery sky also. So Akasha could be up also. But the water is the water, and the water is memory. Water is mem. Huh? So she's gonna remember everything. you know. But the Ankh, sacred knot of Isis. Inanna is not symbolized as the recreated womb. The Ankh, the sacred knot of Isis. It's a knot once again. So Inanna's knot and Isis knot. The Ankh is the knot of Isis. And the reed that the spirals that I'm speaking of, the spiral and symbol, is the knot of Inanna. And it was an ideogram for life itself, the Ankh, right? Sacred Egyptian mysteries were called Shitat or She-Knots. She-Knots, she knits. All of that, like Neith. It goes back to Neith, the goddess Neith, who is more primordial than Isis and Inanna. So the goddess Neith is considered the great weaver of the universe. She weaved the universe. And Neith is represented by a knot, which I'm gonna just finish this. I'm gonna go to Neith right quick. But when people wove or knitted string or yarn into knots, it was believed they could control wind and weather and call up water. Bundles of knotted grains are still powerful symbols of Mother Earth's fertility. Knots encourage the eye to move as an elaborate Celtic knotwork and to dance on mystic paths. What moves you today? Let me see. All right. And they're not showing it in the best way. I wanted to show it in the oldest way they can give it. I'm passing by all that fake stuff. But for one is right there in the background, up there at the top, and I don't like it. They need to just pull it up. All right, hold on. Yes, this is crying shame why they playing these games. Hold on. But they gotta need that. Why they ain't showing up? Not come on, I had to type all that to get it. There's some of that's whack. I don't want to show y'all that. Y'all gonna make me pull up my presentation. I'm about to pull up a whole presentation just to show it. Come on now. Yeah, they showing whack stuff. Hold on. Yeah. They showing how to weave with it. I just want to show how the string goes through the loop, the one little time, and then boom. That's the symbol. I just look up and they'll probably give it to me. But they don't want to give it to me when I ask for it though. That's wild. All right. All right. I know I should have just put the thread underneath. Excuse me. Now they want to show me cartoons. I don't want to see no cartoon. I don't know why they playing with me like that. That's a shame. This is really what it looked like right there in that corner, though. This is the thread underneath. And we know how you got to get a piece of thread, or how the needle is, how you go through the eye of the needle. But that's how you thread, and that's why this is a symbol. And they're showing all these different knots. Because you see the also. But yeah, that's definitely the thread underneath right there, which they didn't even give it to me straight up. I had to just see it. That's sad. See it. What is neath the goddess of? Yep, sewing circle. Now they want to talk about it. Let me see. Neath sewing circle. Obviously, they wouldn't be calling it neath sewing circle if she didn't have anything to do with a knot. But yeah. But yeah, I ain't got to keep going. They ain't showing it how it should be showed. Might have to go on one of my old. Let me see. Yep, I can do that. All right, hold on. 1 second. Yep, that Baphomet, Bobby. Okay, some other one. Bobby Hemmett, Baphomet, and Beyonce. On that PowerPoint. Right. I know I got it on there. But yeah, irregardlessly, like I was saying, let me put the image back up there so we don't forget. No need to forget. And yep, we still talking about Inanna's knot, which is a Sumerian symbol for the goddess, or for the queen, of for royalty. And it's a symbol that's also in Egypt. So I know the Egyptologists won't like me connecting these dots, but that's what the knot is all about. It's about tying them back together. Yeah. So I'm using Inanna's knot to tie them all back together. That's for sure. Y'all smash that like button for your brother. Let's see. Yeah, but obviously we already know Inanna is many different goddesses. You can't say the Queen of Heaven and mean any goddess that's not the oldest. So that's why I'm talking about Neith right now, because Neith is an older representation of them all. Because we be looking at it like it's many, many gods and goddesses, whatever, but it's really just incarnations or manifestations of the same entity. Matter of fact, let me go back to that. I forgot I was pulling up my Yep, and it's right here, right now. Good. So I got his this was my Bobby Hemmett, Baphomet, and Beyonce presentation. Matter of fact, we're gonna go ahead and share this. All right. Here we go. That's why it's good to have these clips like this here. When you got them clips, you can just slide it in and be ready for action. All right. Yep. All right. Yeah, I appreciate all y'all. My brother Organized Noise, McKinley Cougar, Tribe Tides, Hollow Vegeta, Tampa Supreme. My brother always support me, and we in the same city, so I appreciate that. And then Cherie Reed L, Girl Behind the Mic, Rael Singh, Kofa, my brother Root Words. We all in this bit. All right. So boom. Let me get back to the Goddess Neat. That's Had Me Hit. Had Me Hit. Yep. And by Neb the Jet. Yeah, that's the mother and father of who of Harpocrates, who really is where they get that's really the backstory of where they really getting the Baphomet. That's why they say it's the goat of Mendes. Mendes is in Egypt. So all of this goes back to Badneb the Jet. Badneb the Jet couldn't have had the child. He was the male. So who was the female? It was Had Me Hit. Badneb the Jet and Had Me Hit. And they had the son, Harpocrates, which means Horus the child. So it's really the Isis and Osiris story beforehand, before they existed. So that's why I say all these gods it's not different gods. It's just a different manifestation, a different incarnation, a different avatar. Same God. Let me see. Did I have it on here? Well, that's Neath. Let me see. Yeah, I got on there twice. But did I have the symbol? I had the other symbol. The one on her head is the same thread. They just made the loop a lot bigger. That's not threading though. Threading has a small hole like her original symbol does. Like I showed you how it just has the loop on the top. Pretty much like the Ankh. That's really all it is without the side bar. Just the top string. Because we're looking at compound symbols. When we look at the Ankh and all these symbols, it's not a symbol, it's symbols. It's a multiplicity of symbols. But we think it's all one. It's a compound symbol. Every piece of it. Yep. So I guess I didn't have a good close-up of that on this one either. Nah, I don't. But I showed y'all already. Let me see. The show. Islam, brother. Okay. We see we was touching on Inanna's knot. Rennick Johnson. Yeah, you know, put it like this, because Egyptologists never, or they hate to connect Samaria and Egypt. It's like a cardinal sin, you know. So I do it any damn ways because I see what I see, and obviously the headdress being for royalty, being for the kings, the queens, the pharaohs, it wouldn't be an accident that this headdress is in both lands. Inanna's knot is in Egypt as well as Samaria. And like I'm pointing at on that picture, I'm showing you that it was in your grandma's house. It's Big Mama's couch. All of that. So it just signs and symbols, right? Right in front of us. That I'm sure we ain't been paying no attention to. This something kind of old for me. I made this post like in 2019. I just wasn't always interested in doing video. That's all. But I was like, dang, nobody still ain't said half the stuff I've been saying, so I might as well make a video. Cause I know ain't nobody connect on none of these dots. But hey, that's my job. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're gonna end it like that though. And I already what does mean say? Matter of fact, let me see. You already know how people act towards the end, huh? Nah, I mean, you know how they get. Real talk. But if anything, I'd appreciate it. If y'all do smash that like button before we get up out of here. I appreciate you. Sometimes I feel like if I don't do it, it ain't gonna get done. Especially when like I be done drop stuff like this years ago and nobody else ain't even added on to the kind of information. So I'm like, yeah, it's up to me. Definitely appreciate y'all. Let's see. We gotta end it right though. Hold on 1 second. I ain't never lagging. Okay. In fact, let me see. Yeah, I appreciate y'all for stopping through, rocking with me. I already know we're gonna do it how we do it. Same time next, you know what I'm saying? Same place next time.
Kiss you like my white meat, pick for you like my white tea. You the one I need. Oh, baby, I want you. I need you. I need you. Oh, baby. You the one I want, so I had to go and get it. You the reason all the villains had to split. They say you green when it comes to these streets, and you make me mean when I'm flowing on the beats. So many times you done got me in the sheets. You be lying, saying all on me. That's a perfume smell all on me. Kiss you like my white meat. Pay for you like my white tea. The color purple when you excite me. I'd rather smell you every time I breathe. Cop you then I leave. So much smoke, oxygen, high weed. Still we see no felonies. I'm smoking ice, keeping fried eggs. Cause every 7 days I'm paid. So much smoke, oxygen, high weed. Still we see no felonies. I'm smoking ice, keeping fried eggs. Cause every 7 days I'm paid.
I know. So I'm gonna get you high today. But it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
I need you. Sha-na-na-na-na. I need you. Sha-na-na-na-na. Oh, baby. I want you. Sha-na-na-na-na. I need you. Sha-na-na-na.